Lieutenant Francis Goode and Sergeant Stan Graham of the Royal Artillery arrived with their troop on the Normandy Beaches some days after the initial landings in June 1944. They narrowly avoided death for the first time, less than an hour after landing.
I was leading my section. The instructions were not very clear. Saw a chap down in the ditch at the side of the road, so I asked him where we were, and he said, "Jerry is a couple of 100 yards further on." It could have been an absolute disaster, because exposed and open, we couldn't have defended ourselves.
The next incident was less than 24 hours later.
First time in my life that I'd heard shells coming towards me. So I got down on the ground as low as I could.
As the senior officer, Francis was the man in charge, but Stan Graham had been fighting since the war started in 1939, when Francis was still at school, so Francis relied heavily on Stan's experience.
I told him the only difference is the red behind the badge.
Francis, Stan and their troop fought their way across France, into Belgium and Holland, and then crossed the Rhine and advanced across Germany.
The main hazards that we were up against were the mines. Where the tracks crossed, that's where the Germans tended to put the mines. My sergeant and I used to take it in turns to drive over. The other one got out, so at least only one of us would be killed.
On the 17th of April 1945, the day before Stan's 27th birthday, and with the war in Europe entering its final days of conflict, Francis was leading his section in the forward jeep when he spotted the Brigadier's caravan and veered off to see him, while Stan, in the following jeep, carried on.
My sergeant carried on the track about 100 yards. He hit a mine, and his leg was blown off above the knee. Half his face was hanging down. He died that day.
Having survived many battles in North Africa, France, Belgium, Holland and Germany, just a few weeks from the end of hostilities in Europe, Stan's luck ran out.
The day before his 27th birthday, he was killed.
A few weeks earlier, Stan had been recommended to receive the military medal in recognition of the brave work that he'd done. The award finally came through on May the 7th, 1945, 3 weeks after his death. Stan never knew. Do you think about him regularly?
Oh yes, I do.
Over 75 years later, Francis still remembers Stan and often thinks about the tragedy of his loss.
I rather wish, in a way, that it had been me as did mine.
After the war, Francis tried unsuccessfully to make contact with Stan's family. Please do share this video clip, and perhaps this small tribute to Stan Graham's sacrifice will eventually find its way to one of his family's descendants, and they'll know that Stan was never, ever forgotten. Thank you.